Thank you. Thank you so much, Dino, for that really well-developed research presentation that you've shared with us today. And thank you all for being here today. I want to thank all of our stakeholders who are in the room. Customers Bank supports a number of nonprofit organizations that are doing the work that we want to see implemented and that we share similar values around within our communities. And so we have the executive directors and representatives from a number of our stakeholder organizations here today. So thank you so much for coming. And so the purpose of today's luncheon is to begin a dialogue around the needs of the communities that we are serving, that we are collectively serving, and hope to continue that dialogue so that we are well informed and understand how you'd like us to engage in our local communities. We also want to hear from you about your engagement in your communities. And we have this, as has been said, we have this new opportunity to consider how we can collectively engage in the promotion of economic development in opportunity zones. So we want to hear from you. We want your feedback in this dialogue today. So just to give you a little bit of background, as Jen mentioned, I'm the director of CRA, the Community Reinvestment Act officer for the bank. And I want to give you a very brief background on CRA. So the Community Reinvestment Act was established in 1977, and it's intended to encourage depository institutions such as Customers Bank and others to help meet the credit needs of the communities in which we operate, including low and moderate income neighborhoods, consistent with safe and sound operations. So if the statute imposes an affirmative duty for regulated financial institutions to have continued obligation in meeting the credit needs of our local communities. And implicit is the notion that communities, homeowners, businesses, and nonprofit organizations are stakeholders, our eyes and ears in the community. Let us know what the needs are and for us to be responsive to those needs. So it's imperative that a bank such as ours and our stakeholder community come together and have these discussions. And we have the very unique opportunity to collectively vision and co-create strategies that serve businesses and communities for economic development. And also to create a well-defined ecosystem among ourselves so that we are working supportively and collaboratively to meet those needs. We want to be able to make sure that the capital that's deployed is deployed in the right types of projects that really have the impact that we're all seeking. So we are very thrilled to be a part of that dialogue, to get the feedback from you, and to understand how best to support our local communities. What I'd like to share, and I want to thank my colleagues at Customers Bank. I absolutely and truly wish to thank our president, Mr. Dick East, who's in the room with us today, and all of our other colleagues who have been instrumental in engaging in this discussion. I'm very grateful that I was invited to participate in a program at the University of Pennsylvania, which is the Estonia program for graduate banking. And as a student in that program, I'm charged with researching a project that is for the benefit of the bank. And so I've chosen to look at CRA and the expansion of CRA and how we can use the Community Reinvestment Act to really, as the underpinning, as the foundation for creating ecosystems for economic development. And for that to take place, then I would direct you to the last page of Dean Roll's document, and that is to think about who the stakeholders are within our communities, and to engage all of our stakeholders in conversation and dialogue. And so one of the things that we've identified, I also want to mention that I have, thank you to Dean Roll, and I serve on the board of a couple of the organizations who are in the room today. One is Medgar Evers, and I'm on the board of the advisory board for the business school in Medgar Evers. I'm also on the board of SOBRO, so the executive director, Steve Brown, is in the room. Thank you, Steve, for inviting me to serve with you as well. And so one of the things that we recognize is, as Dr. Roll mentioned, is that it's really, when we really synthesize how we can generate economic development in local communities, one of the ways of getting that accomplished is supporting that accomplishment is through the support of entrepreneurism. So what we have begun to look at over a period of time is the concept, the idea of centers for entrepreneurship opportunity housed at universities. And so we've been discussing how Medgar Evers might be able to work with us to roll out a prototype for that may be duplicable in other communities that the bank serves. So that's what we'd like to also begin to talk about in our today's conversation and future conversations. But what does the ecosystem look like? The ecosystem must engage other stakeholders and all stakeholders, certainly educational institutions, but small business investment corps, and we'll have a couple of SBDCs in the room with us this afternoon. Community development financial institutions. We have CDFIs in the room with us right now, and we'll also have other CDFI representatives in the room with us this afternoon. We want to engage with our nonprofit and NGO partners, government agencies, and at the center of all this, in order to support small businesses, we want for the small business owners and entrepreneurs to have a voice and to also be in the room. So this is a working model. It is not a final, complete model. It has not actually been presented within the institution fully yet, but it is something that is being worked on and will be part of my continuing research. So again, I want to thank you for being here today, and at this point, I want to turn the room over to our stakeholders and hear from you. We want to know your thoughts and how you'd like to see us engage. Thank you.